Hello, and welcome to everybody. This is the 11th day of our 21-day course, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sushila, and I'll be your host for the evening. I'm joining from London, and I've been meditating since I was a child, so for quite a long time now. Thank you so much for returning if you've been with us, and welcome if it's your first time here. As part of the course yesterday, we did a bit about a foot soak, which is a type of clearing technique where we used salt and water to clear our chakras. And we also learned a bit about being our own teacher with some really nice experiences from some experienced meditators. Today, we're going to be focusing on the Mooladhara Chakra, which is the first chakra. And the theme is restoring our childlike innocence. Innocence is one of the qualities of this chakra, and that's why we've selected it as the theme for today. Today, we're really lucky to have two very talented musicians with us. We have Tim and Sander. So I'll just quickly talk about what we're going to do in the session today. We're going to start with a guided meditation by Tim, in which he'll talk about some short, easy mantras that we could say at home. So we'll get an introduction to mantras. Then we'll go through a short video by Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi, the founder of this meditation. And then we'll have some live music by Sander, who's very talented at playing an Indian flute called the bansuri. After that, all three of us will have a chat and we'll share some of our experiences of being meditators for the past years. And I'll quickly give an introduction to how to meditate at home, just at the beginning, so that we can talk about the spaces that you guys are meditating in right now. Wherever you're joining from, we're so happy to have you with us. This is the first session of a 7-day series. So we're going to be talking about the 7 energy centers, which are in the subtle being that we understand in Sahaja Yoga. So today is the first day of that. So although we're halfway through the course, there's also a nice starting point to start to understand about these chakras. At the end, we'll join breakout rooms where you can talk to experienced meditators. They can share some of their experiences with you. You can ask questions, and we can also even do like mini meditations with you more personally. So yes, we'll start the session now by introducing the presenters to you. And I'd like to remind everyone that Sahaja Yoga is always free. So you can always join these sessions for free. And also you can see the previous sessions because these sessions are recorded. So I'll start by introducing our two presenters. First, I'll actually let them introduce themselves. We have Tim, who will go first.
Hi, I'm Tim. I'm an actor and I'm a singer. I've been meditating about 35 years or so, something like that. And today I'll be doing the guided meditation where we'll be actually trying to awaken these qualities of the Mooladhara Chakra. So we're not going to just talk about them, we're actually going to awaken those qualities, and we'll be using very simple sounds. So this is also an introduction to mantra.
Right, my name is Sander. You might have seen me in 1 or 2 of the previous sessions. I'm a musician and also play a little bit of Indian music as well, of meditative music. And today I'll be playing not the sarod, which you might have seen before, but this instrument called the bansuri, or Indian bamboo flute, during the meditation for you. So yes, hope you enjoy, and yeah, I will definitely enjoy it too.
Thanks so much for being here, guys. We're going to start with Tim's meditation now. So please try to find yourself in a meditative state. Try to bring your attention inside, and I'll pass over to Tim.
Thank you. Okay, so let's actually start with raising the Kundalini so that we're bringing ourselves into our inner space and we're focusing our Kundalinis. So remember that we raise the left hand and the right hand goes around it. And we raise it upward to the top of the head, and then we do a knot. And then the second time again. Two knots. 1, 2, and then again. This time 3 knots. 1, 2, and 3. And now the bandhan, so the arc from the left hip over the top to the right hip, and then back again. But keep most of our attention at the top of the head if we can. As we spread these vibrations around the subtle body. 6. And then 7. And then just close the eyes. Rest both hands on the lap. And just focus your breathing through the top of the head. So very gently, sending that breath through the top of the head. Again, just focus ourselves at that point. Remember, it's at the top of the head where we experience the yoga, the silence, the thoughtless awareness state. Just to help that, we can just place our right hand on the top of the head, so flattened palm of the right hand on the very top of the head. Again, just to fix our attention at the top of the head, just to help open the center, and then just raise the hand upward. Good. So already I feel a change in the vibrations from doing that. And then just again relax the hand back on the lap, but keep your attention there at the top of the head. So just gently breathing through that. So our attention just lightly bobs to the top of the head. So this first center is very important. So in Sanskrit it's called as the Mooladhara. So this simply means the support of the root. So it's the root chakra. And its quality is of innocence, of purity, of joy, and of wisdom. And they're very childlike qualities. So within this center is the archetype of the eternal child within us. It's always there. Some clouds may come on it, but it's never ever diminished. It's always strong and present. And this power of innocence is at the root of everything, particularly the spiritual ascent. It's at the base of the left channel. So if our Mooladhara is strong, it protects us from any negativity which is pushing against our emotions or against our subconscious, or any diseases from outside. These are kept at bay by the Mooladhara Chakra. Also on the right side, it stops us getting too much away from our balance, from our sense of pure self. So this innocent self, this childlike self, is very much like the spirit itself. It's a pure consciousness within us. We are that pure consciousness. And the more we can connect with that, the deeper we can go, the more we can feel on our fingers and throughout our whole instrument the subtlety of the Spirit, the beauty of the Spirit, and the joy of the Spirit. It's very much closely connected with the Kundalini. Interestingly, the Mooladhara is the only chakra which is below the Kundalini. Kundalini ascends upwards.
So actually, we bow innocence. And this innocence.
Okay, so we'll be hearing that a little later. So what happens is that the Kundalini is the mother, as we know, we refer to it as the mother, the pure mother, our spiritual mother. And within the Mooladhara is the principle of the child, of the son. And he protects his mother. And he removes the obstacles on all of the chakras. So by awakening this power of innocence in all of the centers, it removes blockages. It removes the impediments, the obstacles, and it gives us auspiciousness. And it's from this principle that we feel these vibrations, this energy of coolness in our hands. The word in Sanskrit is chaitanya, so this chaitanya flows, this vibrations flows, this energy flows. And it's very interesting that in Western art, this relationship is so beautifully depicted of mother and child, and it's an all-pervading archetype throughout Western art and the art of all the world, this purity of the mother and the child relationship. And that's also the relationship between us and our own Kundalini. So let's awaken that. Let's go more deeply into that. So to feel exactly what is the feeling of the Mooladhara, we can take our left hand, take the flattened palm of the left hand now, and if we place that on the sacrum bone at the back. So our left hand is going at the base of the spine at the back, and our right hand is on the lap. So our fingers are pointing downwards. So our palm is over the kumbha, the sacrum bone where resides the Kundalini, and our fingers are towards the Mooladhara. And inside, we can just ask, Mother, please make me completely innocent. Mother, please make me completely innocent. Mother, please awaken within me the power of innocence. Mother, please awaken within me the power of innocence. So part of our attention is on the Mooladhara. Always a little part of our attention is always at the top of the head. Never forget that. So we always want to be connected with the top chakra, the Sahasrara Chakra, as well as, for the moment, the Mooladhara. Mother, please awaken within me the power of innocence. And see what you feel. Okay, so let's now bring the left hand back onto the lap. So we're back in the neutral position. So as the Kundalini moves through the system, she creates certain sounds. These sounds are the building blocks of the Sanskrit language, which is why Sanskrit is a very vibrated language and a very useful language for mantra. So we're going to take these sounds now, simple sounds, to help cleanse first the left channel, the right channel, then the central channel, and you'll see how these form the three parts of the Om, the primordial sound, the Om, which is very connected with the Mooladhara. So let's put the right hand towards Mother Earth, left hand remains open on the lap, attention nicely settled on the top of the Sahasrara. And to awaken the power of pure desire, remember the Kundalini itself is the pure desire, and she manifests up through the left channel. We're going to take the sound A. So all of us together, we can make the sound to awaken pure desire within us. And again. So it can be quite a light sound. It doesn't need to be heavy. Don't put it onto the throat. Send it lightly through the top of the head, as we did the breath. And again. Let's come back into center. So both hands back on the lap. Now attention on the right channel. So for this, we can put our left hand in the air, bending at the elbow with our hands facing the palm facing backwards. So we're cleaning the right channel, using the quality now of the air. So before we're using the earth, now we're using the air, the cooling air, and the sound ooh. And again. And the quality is of pure attention, pure action, pure consciousness. Again. So that any heat from our day just goes out through the left hand and the cool, fresh energy comes into our right. And we feel that grace, that auspiciousness coming from the Mooladhara and through our whole system as we come into balance. And relax both hands on the lap, coming to the center. So just focusing at the top of the head, we take an sound, a humming sound, to really open the central channel of ascent. So remember, it's only the central channel which goes above the head, goes into the Sahasrara, and takes us to that silent, thoughtless state. Humming sound. Sending the sound upward. Again. And again. Now we assemble those sounds into one sound. So this is where the Om is coming from. U, and And together they make the sound Om, but it sounds more like Om. So more like O and together. Long O, long Again, sending through the top of the head. So let's take Om together. Om. Just leaving a little space between the lips when we take the at the end. So there's a tiny passage of breath which can come out very, very cool. That's why you get this Kailash vibration, this very cool mountain air of coolness. Again, Om. Om. Remember to send the sound upwards through the Sahasrara into the all-pervading Dissolving us into the all-pervading. And again. And again, to open this chakra a little more, there's another sound which the Kundalini makes as it comes to the Mooladhara, is the lam. L-A-M, lam. So we make this sound 4 times and then om. So lam, 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 and then om. To really awaken this quality of purity and innocence within us. Lam, lam, lam. We do it 4 times because there are 4 petals, remember. So there's 4 petals to this chakra. So innocence, purity, joy, and also wisdom. 4 times lam. Lam, 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 lam. Again. Lam, 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 lam. And again. Lam, 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 lam. Then just rest in the silence, gently breathing through the top of the head, allowing that purity to flow through our whole system and through us into the whole world. Vakratun Namahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. Om Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha.
So actually we bow to innocence within us. And this innocence is the one gives you the enlightenment. As I told you yesterday, but this is innocent without knowledge. But your light is innocent with knowledge. We always think that the people who have got knowledge can never be innocent, can never be simple. And the idea we have got about innocence is that an innocent person is always deceived, can be befooled, and can be always taken for granted. But innocence is a power. It is a power which protects you, which gives you light of knowledge. Knowledge that we have in the worldly sense is how to exploit others, how to cheat others, how to make money out of them, how to make fun of others, how to look down upon others. But the light of innocence is the light by which you know that love is the highest thing. And it teaches you how to love others, how to care for others, how to be gentle about others. It also gives you the light within. It's just the other way around of this avidya that we have in this world. Just the other way around. The avidya outside teaches us competition, how to put the other person down, because it has fear. It is insecure. This knowledge is not secured at all. If it had security, it would not have behaved like this. But the light of innocence knows everything. It has no fear. When we say children are innocent, we mean to say that they have that power of innocence. Many times people have noticed if a child falls from a height, he doesn't die, while a young man may die with a much smaller height. And the child is not afraid while falling. He just enjoys as if there's a parachute coming down, nicely. And then when he falls down also just gets up, laughs, smiles at everyone. He doesn't understand why everybody is worried. Because in that innocence he knows that he's looked after. He's protected. He knows that there is a power which is much higher than him, and he does not have to worry. Then we start putting ideas into the head of the child. And that is how he starts losing his power of innocence. And he becomes a coward. He knows that he's looked. He becomes a cunning fellow. He becomes an unrighteous personality. But still we would say that the innocence of children is innocence of ignorance. In a way. because they do not know the dangers of life. But the light of innocence knows all the dangers and also knows how to get rid of it. Also knows how to be away from such a person. There was a wise man who was going on a staircase. And there was a stupid man coming from the other side, foolish man. So foolish people are always aggressive. That is one of the signs, because they have inferiority complex. So the foolish man says to the man who was coming up, he says, one had to move on one side. So he says, I don't move for fools, the foolish one says. So the wise man says, I do, and he moved. That's how the light of innocence tells you how far to go with a person, how far to talk to a person, how far to indulge in another person's personality or his problems. Otherwise he recedes. He understands that this gentleman is a stupid fool, so I move for a fool like that. He doesn't pay attention to such a person. He doesn't bother about such a person. This is the light of innocence which gives you discrimination. How far to go with others?
We can remain in a meditative mood, meditative state, just a little bit longer. What we can do is, with our right hand starting just in front of us, following this central path, central channel, we can guide this Kundalini energy all the way up to the Sahasrara, to the top of the head. And we can do this 2 more times with full attention, with full desire for this Kundalini to rise and give us this beautiful state of thoughtless awareness. Then with the palm of our hand we can press down on this fontanelle bone area of the Sahasrara. Hold our attention right there and bring our hand back down, open on our lap. Now for just one more moment, can remain in this state of thoughtlessness, where we try not to react to anything, inside or outside. We just watch. We just listen, as if listening from the Sahasrara itself. Let's take one final moment of complete silence. And we can end this meditation the same way we started the first meditation, by, with full attention, raising our Kundalini and giving ourselves abundance. So with our left hand, right hand going around it, we go all the way up to the top of our head, make a first knot. Then 2 knots. And finally with 3 knots. Then we make a bandhan, an arch around ourselves, 7 times each way. Once for each chakra. And that's how we conclude our meditation.
Thank you so much, Sandra and Tim. Those were lovely meditations. I'm sure that we all enjoyed them. So I think we'll go on to the next session, which is where Tim and Sandra would like to share with you experiences they had as people who've been meditating for a while. So I think we're going to start with Tim this time again. So Tim, over to you.
Okay, so when we first start meditating, there are things that the Kundalini likes to do to try and convince us that it's something very deep, something very special, something very unique. So there are different things that different people experience along the way. So it may be to do with how you interact with other people, or it may be how you interact with nature and this kind of thing. So there's something called the collective unconscious. And there's something that Jung has talked about, for example, and how we relate to that, this all-pervading, this spiritual oneness of everything, becomes more subtle the more you meditate, and you literally get intuitions or little messages, you can say. So this story is about not quite getting the message, and so this is in a place in India called Ganapatipule, which is a very special place, and it has the quality of the Mooladhara very, very strongly. In fact, there's a manifestation, in fact, what they call a Swayambhu, in the Mother Earth. It's just emanating that very same vibration at that particular place. So it's a very special place and a very powerful place to meditate. Anyway, we were by the seashore, and we were actually foot soaking. It's wonderful to foot soak in the sea, in the actual element of the sea. And we were there with the children. We were meditating there and saying some very simple mantras. Again, clear the chakras and feel that open Sahasrara. And I had this kind of thought in the back of my mind, there's something, because sometimes after we foot soak, we just swim. We just completely go in the ocean and surrender to the ocean and play and whatever. But I had this feeling that I shouldn't go in today. I don't know. I just dismissed it as a fear and I don't want to know. Forget it. And just carried on with a meditation. And then the dog started barking. So this dog was part of the camp. We'd just been at a seminar. The seminar had finished. There were very few people around. And the dog started barking. I thought there must be something. Then the dog never barks. It's always very kind of placid, always has a very good nature. I thought, and it was really howling and looked very disturbed. And I thought, what's going on? And again, dismissed it. Started meditating, closing my eyes. And then out of absolutely nowhere, this boat appeared. This boat full of yogis just appeared out of nowhere. And literally they said, don't go in the water. There's a snake in the water. You can't go in. So 3 times I'd been given this message, this subtle message about there was a danger in the water. And it literally took someone to say the words, do not go in the water because there's a danger there. I mean, I felt it all of the times, but I just hadn't acted on it. So this is again, it indicates how we have to trust what we feel. Sometimes we may just suddenly think about someone and they suddenly appear. They walk around the corner. That's happened to me quite a lot of times. Or especially in Ganapatipule, you feel unwell or something. Oh, I think I need a doctor. And then suddenly a doctor appears next to you. And that sense of connectedness is a wonderful thing which comes very much from that Mooladhara Chakra, that spontaneity also. That nothing's fixed. Everything's living. It's not, he's always like that. She's always like that. That's not how it is. It's a living process. And the more that we're able to open ourselves to that and really play that game of life like a child and witness it as well, not get too much stuck into it, that's where things really start to become interesting and we really start to experience the deep side of it. And life really kind of opens itself to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's so true. I've had experiences similar where things just seem so coincidental. But yes. I'll pass over to Sandro now because he would also love to share something.
Well, yeah, thank you for the really nice story. I mean, I was asked if I have any experiences to share, and the first thing that came to mind, which very much ties in with your Kundalini giving you a message, is that, well, my history is a bit different from most people joining a course like this, because just like with Sushila, my parents were already practicing Sahaja Yoga meditation even before I was born. So I basically grew up with having that, in that kind of environment, with meditation around, with all this knowledge of vibrations. I could feel it as well, even as a child. I could feel my Kundalini, and I felt very much that it was the truth. But I couldn't really understand how to actually meditate, in the sense how to actually get into thoughtless awareness. At least when I got into this teenage age, you know, it's very boring to just sit down. You know, you don't really want to do that. And I didn't really, even if I had the desire to actually feel it, I didn't really know how to get there. Because you know, if you get your self-realization, you know, from one day to the next, it's a very clear before and after, let's say, very often at least. But for me, it was somehow, I don't know, a bit more abstract or difficult to get there. And so I kind of got frustrated with it, didn't really join in much on meditations. Just every now and then, when there was like a collective happening, I would join in and I would try. And there was one moment, one of these meditations, where I had such a strong desire. I really asked inside, please just let me feel like what this thoughtlessness means, what this real state of meditation is. And at that moment, something really clicked, and I could feel this Kundalini going up like a strong, strong beam, like a jet stream through my Sahasrara. And I was just in bliss. And I was in bliss for days. I was just floating on a cloud, really. And everything around me became like a beautiful flow, completely effortless, completely in joy. But of course, that started subduing. That's the moment when I actually started to, you know, where I took the conscious decision for myself that this is what I want to do. I want to, you know, be in this state. I want to actually meditate. I want to do this for myself, and not just because I tag along to what my parents or my friends or anyone is doing. And for me, well, it was not something that it's not something that, like a state that I just achieved and that's the rest of my life. It was just a sign or a way of the Kundalini showing me where I should be in the future. And so I was very clearly shown the kind of state you can get. And sometimes I have managed to reach it back, most often, obviously not. Still an ongoing journey of a lifetime. But yeah, it was such a strong experience that, well, I'll never forget. So yeah, that's something I wanted to share. So that was my way that the Kundalini really showed me what the, I don't know, the future holds, let's say, on this journey.
Yeah, it's so true. We're all trying to get back to that state of when we were in our best meditation all the time. Thanks so much for sharing that, Sander.
Well, sometimes it manifests even as literally as miracle pictures. There are so many miracle pictures which actually show the Kundalini. You actually see it like rising like a plume, a red orange plume of these wonderful little kind of leaves coming off about a meter above the head. And it's amazing to actually see it. You know, it's actually there, it exists, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, there's lots of for context, there are photos of people with like lights coming out of their head and other things that have been taken by different yogis around the world. So it's really quite amazing. Yeah. I was wondering, Tim, if you wanted to share, we had like a short excerpt of a William Blake poem that we thought was really nice to capture the kind of theme of innocence and the feeling of wonderment that you have when you're innocent. So I thought maybe you could share that.
How that innocence is literally takes you to the all-pervading. It's the essence, literally the essence of everything. The the creation is all part of that same thing. Yeah. So this is a little thing by William Blake from Auguries of Innocence. It's the first stanza. To see a world in a grain of sand, or a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour.
This is so beautiful.
I won't do the rest of it. It's very long.
I love that so much. It captures so beautifully just just humbling yourself and becoming innocent. You really just open yourself up to this whole world of just joy and wonder, even in the simplest of places. So I think it's really beautiful.
This is really interesting talk when Shri Mataji talks about Adam and Eve, where the moving away from innocence was the first step away from being centered and connected and all these other things. So going back on the innocence is how you root yourself and how you get back into that, all those aspects of joy, spontaneity, wisdom, all these things. Like, that's the root of it. That's the essence.
Definitely. I think we're going to have to wrap up here. But thanks so much, Sander and Tim, for sharing your experiences with us.
Thank you.
It's such a pleasure. I was going to quickly talk about how to meditate at home, because I guess since joining this course, all of you have been meditating in your homes or in a space where you feel that it's quiet and peaceful. So I think we just wanted to share, like, if you want to meditate without a course running, if you just wanted to meditate by yourself, here's something that you could do. The first thing is that we usually try to find a place that is quiet. And if you look in the picture, there is a small picture of a sort of setup we would have near a place where we meditate. So we usually put a picture of Shri Mataji there because we find that having her picture actually has a lot of vibrations and it brings us into a nice meditative state. And we also often have a candle because that helps to draw our attention and to kind of make the space feel like a meditation space. So once you're in a space like that, you can sit on a chair or on the floor, wherever you are comfortable. We usually try to take off our shoes and our glasses. But of course, if you're outside or something, you can leave them on if you need to. So we just say that it's really nice if you could meditate about 10 minutes each morning and evening, because having this habit of meditating is really the way to build up your spiritual depth. So it's kind of like vocal training or like any muscle training. Like if you do it consistently every day, we really find that it makes a much bigger difference than if you do an hour but once a week. So we recommend about 10 minutes a day. Hopefully everyone here already knows how to raise your kundalini and give this bandhan, which was like this hand movement, and then the arch over the body 7 times. So what we usually do is that at the beginning and the end of the meditation, we do the kundalini and the bandhan. And in between, you can just sit with your hands open. If you find it hard to bring your attention inside, you can just raise your hand to the top of the head. And as Tim and Sander were both saying, you can try to keep your attention on the top of the head here. And then you can just give yourself those 10 minutes, sit and try to let any thoughts go away from your mind. And if you find that you're engaging with them too much, just sit peacefully and try to say, not this, not now. And just kind of give yourself that time, because it's actually really time that helps you to grow and to be connected with your inner self. So yes, thanks so much for that. We'll move on to the next slide. Yes, so we have a few useful links for you. The first is a link to the website, which is at the top. We'll be posting them in the chat. This website has all the past recordings of the previous days and also the links for the Zoom and YouTube of the days to come. We are here every day at 7:45 p.m. This is day 11, so there's 10 more days after this. There is also a link to a beginners WhatsApp group. So this is for all of you to talk to each other and also to get in contact with us. So please feel free to join. That will also be in the chat. And there is also a link, which we've just added, to a kind of summary of all the different content that has been in the courses. So in case you heard something, but you can't really remember, you can actually get a PDF with a summary of each day, and you can read up about it. The last thing that we wanted to add was that we have a mentoring program. So this is where there's an experienced meditator, and we kind of link people up together so that there's a new person with an experienced person, and they can answer any of your questions. They can get to know you a little bit, or as much as you would like. And if you want, they can even meditate with you outside of the course if they have time. So yes, please feel free. You can join the QR code here, or there'll be a link in the chat again. And we really, really encourage you to have a mentor. I have a mentee. Hopefully she's here. Her name is Aditi. And it's really, really worthwhile because you get to know someone. You get to really enjoy discussing your experiences of the meditation, and that helps you to go much deeper. So now we'll have a breakout room session. So we'll put people into breakout rooms. First of all, if you're here for the first time, could you please raise your hand, because we can put you into a separate breakout room for newcomers. So if you go down to reactions and raise your hand, that would be great. That way we can get you into a special room. And then for people who have been here for a bit longer, who have been here for the previous days of the course, you could join the breakout rooms tab at the bottom, which we'll show on the next slide. And if there's like a small pop-up box on the screen, please just press the button to enter the breakout room. So if we go to the next slide, you'll be able to see the kind of screen grab of what you would have to do. Yeah, so just press the breakout rooms tab and then join breakout room. And there'll be some people there that can maybe meditate with you or answer any questions you have. Thank you so, so much for joining today. We hope to see you tomorrow and the days to come. And we hope that you have a good spiritual journey. Tomorrow, we have some information about the Swadhisthana, which is the second chakra. And this is the center which deals with creativity, pure knowledge, pure desire, pure attention. And it's such an important center. So we really hope to see some of you tomorrow to work on this chakra, to help it become stronger, and also just to learn about it and understand ourselves better. Thank you so, so much. Bye.